After dumping over 100 hours into 2017's Fire Emblem Warriors, I've completely fallen in love with Koei Tecmo's prolific hack-and-slash series. The latest of these is Samurai Warriors 5. The game follows the conquest of historical figure Nobunaga Oda in a dramatized retelling of how he unified Japan. While not as fully featured as some of the licensed spin-offs, Samurai Warriors 5 still features a great stylized look and fun action-packed gameplay.
お前の野望も左文字もこの信長がもらい受ける
The Samurai Warriors games have all focused on various historical figures from Japan's Sengoku period. This era was known for its near-constant civil war and social turmoil. One of the most famous figures from this time was Nobunaga Oda, who serves as the main protagonist of the game. His goal is to unify Japan under one rule for a more prosperous future, even if he has to do so by force. Most warrior-style games aren't known for their story, but rather their 1 vs 1000 hack-and-slash gameplay. While that's mostly true here, Samurai Warriors 5 does a commendable job of presenting a compelling narrative. One of the storylines that really grabbed me was the relationship between Nobunaga and his wife via arranged marriage, No. She's always been told what to do her whole life, but Nobunaga gives her more freedom than she's ever had to make her own decisions. Over the course of the game, it was really enjoyable to watch their relationship blossom. One other character that I particularly enjoyed was Mitsuki. For all intents and purposes, she's a fictional character, although the game presents it as if she could have really lived. Mitsuki believes that Nobunaga is her long-lost father, which makes for a number of fun and lighthearted moments. The rest of the story isn't nearly as interesting. It's mainly Nobunaga strategizing his next move with his lieutenants, or side missions that make it feel like the game is spinning its wheels a bit. There's even an entire second campaign that follows the story from the perspective of Mitsuhide Akechi, Nobunaga's top vassal. Most of the missions are exactly the same, but for those that really want more story and to unlock every character, it is there to enjoy. One other thing worth mentioning is that the game exclusively features Japanese voice acting. Considering the source material, that makes a lot of sense and feels more immersive, however it can be frustrating during battles. Characters often spout bits of dialogue mid-fight, which can be hard to catch as you'll likely be paying attention to the battle. It would have been nice to have English voice acting for these instances, but at the end of the day, this really isn't that big of a deal. Samurai Warriors 5 continues the hack-and-slash tradition of past games where you mow down hundreds of enemies to control the battlefield. Each Warriors sub-series has its own distinct features, with Samurai Warriors focusing on defeating captains. As you progress through missions, your objectives will only ever be to defeat certain captains marked on your map with an exclamation point, or to defeat a certain number of enemies in a particular section. Other Warriors games have included objectives like capturing points or collecting items, but Samurai Warriors 5 is fairly bare bones in that respect. I always felt like I had to stay on my toes in other Warriors games so I didn't lose any outposts, but with this game so focused on defeating captains, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, Samurai Warriors 5 is still a blast to play, but the missions start feeling stale pretty quickly. Thankfully, the game features a large roster of characters and weapons to keep things interesting. There's a total of 37 characters and 15 weapons that all feel very distinct. As I unlock new characters and weapons through the story, it was always fun to try them out to see if one matched my playstyle more than others. My go-to when playing Warriors games is usually the cutest girl with the fastest weapon, and that's no different here. Sadly, there's only 4 playable female characters, but they all have great designs and fun movesets that I swap between quite often. As the game went on, I tended to gravitate towards ranged weapons like bows and handguns. Pretty much every weapon is fun though, so no matter which one you decide to go with, you should be able to plow through droves of enemies with a smile on your face. What's interesting about Samurai Warriors 5 is that any character can equip any weapon. Of course, each character has a preferred weapon and unique moveset if equipped with said weapon. However, if you're like me and find yourself preferring certain characters but don't like how their weapons play, you can always swap to something else. Each character has weapon proficiencies with every weapon, and the more you use a particular weapon type, their proficiency with that weapon goes up. You'll also earn weapon skill points for completing battles that you can spend to level up weapon proficiencies. You'll want to do this because new ultimate skills will unlock at certain weapon skill ranks. This greatly expands your moveset, making combat even more fun. You can also upgrade the weapons themselves with skill gems, granting weapons enhanced properties like increased attack speed and filling up gauges faster. As your characters level up, you'll also earn skill points, which you can spend on individual character skill boards. Here you can increase various stats, extend your Muso bar, and unlock more skills. All these enhancements are done at various buildings, which can be upgraded themselves. You'll need resources to upgrade buildings, which can only be earned in the game's supplementary Citadel mode. Citadel mode is kind of like a tower defense mode in that you'll need to defend your keep from losing all its health. What's nice about this mode though is that you can choose between any 2 characters you want. The story mode often features the same handful of characters, so it's nice to pair up different ones that normally don't get a chance to fight together. From those coming from licensed spin-offs like Hyrule Warriors that feature interesting extra modes, don't expect the same here with Samurai Warriors 5. It's basically the same warrior-style gameplay all the way through. As someone that really enjoyed the challenges and metagames of those spin-offs, it's a little disappointing that Samurai Warriors 5 is fairly lean in that respect. Don't get me wrong, if you love warrior-style gameplay, there's tons to love here and plenty of content to keep you busy for 40+ hours. Just don't expect much more than that. Samurai Warriors 5 features a colorful, cel-shaded art style that looks absolutely fantastic. Each character has a bright, saturated color scheme that helps them stand out. Samurai Warriors 4 looks pretty drab by comparison, and I think going with this new look does wonders for the game. One of my favorite parts of trying each new character was seeing their ultimate Musou character portrait. Each is done in the styling of classic Japanese painting similar to the art style found in Okami. It can take a little while to build up all the necessary gauges, but each portrait looked so cool and was always worth the wait. This period of Japanese history has always intrigued me, and the game does a nice job of putting it on display from the architecture to the outfits. I'm usually running through most environments with little time to explore them, but I enjoyed soaking them in nonetheless. The outfits are obviously very exaggerated for the sake of the game, but I really loved looking at all the little details during cutscenes. Whether it was markings on armor or No's butterfly hairpin, the designers did a wonderful job of giving each playable character a unique look. Samurai Warriors 5 is another excellent entry in Koei Tecmo's storied franchise. Its stylish look and deep roster of characters kept me constantly entertained. While not as feature-rich as some of the licensed spin-offs, Samurai Warriors 5 is still an absolute blast and perfect for some turn-off-your-brain fun. Now if you want to hear about another warrior-style game from this year that I loved, be sure to check out my review for Persona 5 Strikers. It's so much fun and more of a Persona 5 sequel than you might expect. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with the latest reviews for JRPGs and other Japanese games, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.